Earthlings! I am Eric Wilmot, and I represent a ragtag group of intergalactic rebels called Crüzer, bringing you the best tunes for cruising down the interstellar highway. Let's get this interview underway. The name Crüzer actually came about before I even joined the band. Our drummer Alex once told me that they came up with the name because they considered their tunes to be music to cruise to, and that always kind of stuck with me. I quite like that. Look to the Skies is our debut EP, available now on all streaming platforms, physical release coming very soon. 5 tracks of high-riffing intergalactic thrash metal of varying different styles. We wanted to have a little bit of a smorgasbord on this EP. We got a little bit of hardcore punk style thrash, we got a little bit of new album style riffage, some hair metal, some Slayer-esque sort of just real bangers, we wanted a little bit of everything on this album. The lyrics to the opening track, the title track, deal of course with an alien invasion and humanity's attempts to stop it, or maybe they know a little bit more than they're letting on. The second track, Born to Rise, is about, rising up from the ashes like a phoenix and taking vengeance against those who have wronged you. The third track, Raging Fire, is a typical thrash metal song about the destruction of the environment through, late stage capitalism. Good stuff. The fourth track, I Need Thrash, is kind of interesting because I wanted to sort of take the thrash metal cliche of killing posers and turning it on its head, because nobody likes to be called a poser. You can listen to whatever kind of metal music you want these days. So I included a lyric in the song that goes, "We'll never rest till screams of metal ring out across the land, but don't go out killing posers. That shit's for boomers, man." And in sort of a response to that very lyric, the closing track of the album, Pit Viper, we wanted to include a little bit of a hair metal sound, incorporate that a little bit, just to end the album on kind of a high note, a good partying kind of note, The cover art, we really wanted to go for like a comic booky kind of style. The art was done by a great artist from Victoria, I believe, named Grimusa. Fantastic artist. Check out their stuff on Instagram. We wanted to incorporate a little bit of each song's lyrical concept into the overall theme of the album cover. So if you look on the cover, there's little Easter eggs here and there. There's a guy with pit vipers on. There's Raging Fire in the background. The guy's wearing like a battle jacket. I Need Thrash. Me personally, outside of music, I am a voice actor, which is kind of a related field, I guess you could say. I do mostly audiobooks for ACX, but I have been trying to get more into cartoons and animation because I'm a big cartoon fanboy. You can hear me in a YouTube animated series called Mammal Squad. I was also in a video game recently called Journey Renewed Fate Fantasy, which is I believe it's a mobile game. I've done comic book dubs over the years with a group called Spotted Martin. Check out their comic book dubs for Tamberlane and Supercell. They're both really good. And I also have a couple other projects that I'm working on right now that I can't talk about just yet, but trust me, they'll be really cool when they come out. When did I first discover my interest in metal music? Well, I was raised on a 1970s hippie rocker mom. So, I was raised on the classics, Led Zeppelin, Van Halen, all that good stuff. And then when I became a rebellious teenager, my way of rebelling was going heavier. So I started listening to Metallica, Slayer, started getting into really obscure San Francisco thrash metal bands. My favorite band is actually a black metal band, one of the first black metal bands, Bathory from Sweden. Love those guys. I think you can see a poster of them in the background. That band really inspired me to take a really DIY approach to my recording techniques because, if Corthon can record under the sign of the black market, a used car garage, I can certainly do something similar on a computer, right? What obstacles I've faced as a musician over the years? Definitely budget, money, which I said before, the DIY approach that Bathory taught me really helped with that. I've been programming drums since I was in high school. I've been tinkering around with various DAWs and recording software. I recorded an entire album on Audacity when I was like 14 years old. It's never seen the light of day. But yeah, I've always been tinkering with that stuff to save money. I'm, of course, speaking about my own music projects that I've made over the years. This Crüzer EP was recorded in a professional studio in New Westminster. The engineer, Michael Krauschar, was great. I love working with that guy. His studio is called Little Red Sound or Little Red Studios. But yeah, great engineer. Specific non-metal genre or artist I'd love to collaborate with. I'm actually a huge fan of 80s synth pop music. It's probably my second favorite genre of music besides metal. And I actually, a couple years ago, I started working on an album of synth pop music. I really should revisit it because it's been a while and I haven't really looked at the files. But yeah, I would love to do an 80s pop album of some kind. AI generated cover art. Bad, garbage, lazy, get good. First album I bought with my own money, probably a used vinyl copy of Number of the Beast. It was an original with the blue sky. I don't have it anymore. I have a reissue with the black sky now. Conspiracy theory that is actually true. Wealthy elites actually do hate you and they do want you to die and they really are trying to take over the world. You know, people tend to debate on the specifics of that, but I think we can all agree that that general concept is true in some regard. If our music were a movie, which one would it be? Well, I'd have to go with some kind of 80s alien invasion movie. Like, Alien and Aliens are probably the obvious choice, but I want to go something obscure, like maybe Life Force. Or another Tobe Hooper movie, his remake of Invaders from Mars. Something like that. Worst job I've ever had? Working as a machinist. I absolutely hated it. I was miserable. But, to be fair, that misery is what prompted me to pursue my dream job and become a voice actor, so. Favorite pop song? This is actually really hard for me because, like I said before, I love 80s pop music. So, I'll probably just rattle off a couple that come to mind right now. Anything produced by Trevor Horn, so, you know, Relax by Frankie Goes to Hollywood, or Owner of a Lonely Heart. I mean, I love Yes just as a prog rock band, but that's a great song as well. Any kind of New Jack Swing produced by Teddy Riley or L.A. and Babyface. Michael Jackson, Madonna, Prince, Duran Duran, you name it. If it was released between 1983 and 1992, there's a chance I like it. Future plans for Crüzer. Definitely a new EP. We're also going to try to get some physical releases going and try to expand our net outside of Vancouver and start playing some shows out in Alberta or rural BC, or I would say the United States, but we're going to hold off on that for a while, I think. Thank you for having me. This is Eric Wilmot from Crüzer signing off. Rock on.